Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jacob and I'm attempting to become the youngest German-speaking person to sail around the world solo. But not taking the easy route, instead going around the legendary Cape Horn. Over the last several years, sailing vessel Wolf was prepared for this voyage. Bonjour and welcome back. After 4 months here in Canary on the coast of Brittany, the time has now finally come to take on the first long crossing, non-stop 1,200 nautical miles to the Canary Islands and leaving Europe behind. Okay, so welcome back. Excuse the sunglasses, but it is just not possible without those, with the sun which is out today. Yeah, so the time here in Canary has now finally come to an end. In the last video I've covered the repair and the time here after the collision, and now it is finally on to move on to the Canary Islands. So the weather window is now perfect for the next days, and as it looks now, even weeks. So theoretically, if it stays like that, it should be straight downwind sailing to the Canaries, so non-stop from here to the Canary Islands, around 10 to 12 days at sea, 1,200 nautical miles. So I even have to say it was an amazing time here in Canary, and I'm already missing that little town here. But it is time to move on, finally, on this journey around the world. So yeah, let's not talk anymore. Let's embark on the first long passage. Let's go! So we are completely stocked up with everything. Diesel is full, water is full, food is full, fridge is full. After all this time here, it is the best feeling to finally get moving again. It is still a long way around. The challenges of the English Channel are now finally a thing of the past, and the Atlantic Ocean awaits. I can't believe I'm saying that, but we're on the way to the Canary Islands, goddamn. Woo! So we don't need those landlines for the near future. After having left the Bay of Brest, the wind shadow of the coast disappears and it is time to get the sails up. So I have a new life vest on board because I've always made excuses to not wear it with the old one because it was just so baggy and absolutely not practical and amazing to use. Still have to figure out how I use that, to be honest. A few hours before me, a German catamaran, which I got to know in Canary, also left, and we set to meet up in front of the coast. Sailing vessel Blues, here is sailing vessel Wolf, over. So what is basically happening, the German catamaran is out there and we wanted to rendezvous on the Point Penheur, or how it's pronounced, but he's not answering the radio calls. I can see him visually over there, I can't see him on camera. But he is not answering the radio calls. He just called me a few minutes ago, but now he's not answering.
War mir eine Ehre, Jakob. Alles Gute.
Danke, dir auch und eine gute Weiterreise heute nach Brest noch.
Danke dir. Ciao.
The wind is now perfect to give the gennaker a try, a sail to which I have a mixed relationship. So let's see. I will first prepare the lines here, then go as far downwind as possible, furl the genoa in and hoist the gennaker and hope not to die. So let's try that. So everything's ready here. The head is attached, the tack is attached, and the glue is attached here. Now let's go a bit off the wind as far as we can to get a bit of wind shadow here and then try to hoist it. Okay, so as much as I would love to keep the gennaker up, I have to get it down now, because first we are approaching a shipping channel through which I'm definitely not going to the gennaker, with the gennaker. And the second reason, it's getting dark, I don't want to keep that sail up at night. And the third reason, there is a fishing vessel coming, and they're coming from basically all sides, and I can by far not maneuver that well with the gennaker, so let's get it down. Okay, that went great. I'm not used to that from the gennaker. And speed is really the key when working with the gennaker and retrieving and setting it. As longer as it takes, the more things go wrong, so speed is everything. So basically what is happening here weather-wise, this is the current point of time here. We are pretty much in the blue point with below 10 knots of wind. And as we get to 4 AM, that little patch here is coming right above us and stays pretty much, and even moves a bit south together with us. But to catch that whole thing, I have to keep myself a bit more east here. So my current plan is to motor for another 1 to 2 hours and then turn the engine off and just drift. My plan actually worked out, and there is even a bit more wind than forecasted, enough to turn the engine off. Under sail, we make our way into the first night on the Bay of Biscay. So I think behind us, about 4 nautical miles away, is a bigger ship. Looks like a cargo vessel or something. I saw that on the radar. That is that cargo vessel or whatever that is. That echo right here. After the other vessel has passed and the radar is empty again, I take a 20-minute nap below deck. I only notice it with the first daylight. Over the night, fog has built up, which now surrounds us, so I continue to keep a close eye on the radar. Breakfast. So I just turned up the diesel heater because it is pretty cold inside and outside for a bit of warmth here. Okay, so here are some great news. The shackle which connects the main sheet to the traveler here just broke loose. So that is not the ideal shackle, but it works, or it has to work for the next days. After the fog has slightly cleared, I set the gennaker again, because the mainsail and genoa are just slamming around in the light winds. The gennaker makes for a much smoother ride, and also actually gives some speed. After the wind picked up a bit, I also add the mainsail. So we are now doing steady around to even above 5 knots, which is great. In the early afternoon, the clouds finally disappeared and the sun came through, so it was time for dinner, which I enjoyed up in the cockpit. And after dinner, there's one thing waiting, which just belongs to it. And this brings us to the sponsor of this video. I'm a huge coffee enthusiast, but getting good coffee on board is often very hard. So when OutIn reached out to me to try out their portable coffee maker, I was definitely very excited. In bad weather, a warm cup of good coffee can often do wonders to your morals. And the great thing about the OutIn Nano is that I'm never in touch with boiling water at any point of time, which can be very dangerous when there's a lot of movement in the boat. For the harbor activities like going on adventures in your surroundings, the OutIn Nano fits perfectly in any backpack, so you can have a delicious cup of espresso anytime, anywhere. The coffee maker comes in a beautifully designed package, which is fully made out of cardboard, so there is no plastic waste. Included are 2 accessories, one for ground coffee and one for capsule coffee, whichever you prefer. I also got the universal coffee stand, so the OutIn Nano has its fixed place in my galley when I'm in the harbor or at anchor. Just like with a big and chunky coffee machine, you can make every espresso based drink. My favorite one, especially in the morning, is a good Italian cappuccino. For that I'm pulling a shot of espresso with the OutIn Nano and then frothing some milk and putting that together in a cup. And voila, we have our cappuccino. Especially on hotter days, a drink I also like to make is a refreshing cold Americano. For this we make a shot of espresso and then put in 2/3 of water and put it in the fridge for some while. So I have a very fancy Colombian coffee here. No, really, this whole atmosphere here just is amazing. The coffee maker is available in many colors, which you can check out on their website via the first link in the video description. So thank you OutIn Nano for sponsoring this video. Putting on my life vest right now to be ready in case the wind suddenly picks up a lot with the huge gennaker up. Because that cloud band over there probably looks worse on camera than in real life, but it makes me a bit nervous. I don't think it will bring any more wind than now, but in case it does some local stuff, I need to be ready to drop the gennaker fast. So, life vest and lifeline. Luckily the wind stays stable and we make our way into the second night. Okay, so I want to give you a quick overview over my weather planning now as we're entering night 2 and are nearly or just at about 1/3 across the Bay of Biscay. And I'm dividing that passage into basically 2 parts. The first one is the light wind part, which we're now nearly through and had the gennaker up the whole time. And the second part is the stronger wind part, which is not really strong, force 3 to 4, but in comparison. And that shift in wind systems will happen tonight at between 3 and 4 AM. And I still have the gennaker up now, which I normally don't do in the dark or after it gets dark, because it's just another risk. But I want to get as much miles covered as possible, and when I take that down we are basically standing still. So I'm leaving that up for another hour to 2 hours. And then I will change to the normal sails again, and a few hours after that, at 3 to 4 AM, the wind should shift to the also from the north, but to the other side, northeasterly, with force 3 to 4, so around 20 knots, 25 knots in gusts, pushing us towards A Coruña. So that looks great. So there's again everything full of dolphins in the water around the boat. I hope, I'm not 100% sure, I hope those are not orcas, but they are way too small for orcas and have a light grey skin, light grey color. There was one jumping out. There, it's full everywhere. There, that there. At 0300 I finally decide to drop the gennaker and catch up on some sleep. Those are 20 to 25 knots out there and it's pretty wild. And I'm starting to feel a bit seasick, to be honest. Never had that before. I just have to get used to it again, I guess, after being 4 months not on a boat. Not that bad, but I'm feeling it, I'm feeling it. The good thing is that we are making good speed towards Spain, 6.5 knots, around 6.5, and yeah, we'll reach around the area around A Coruña, I guess tomorrow around, yeah, midday. And I'm looking forward to I at least hope that the forecast is right and the wind turns around and we have it from the back. I'm definitely looking forward to that now. Oh, so I'm getting a bit of rest here now. 20 minutes. So it looks like that weather change actually happened, because we have the wind from the side to a broad reach now. So let's get more of the Genoa on. So I've just removed every reef. Now we are back in full mainsail, full Genoa, and doing between 5.5 to 6.5 knots. So I'm going to send a check-in now to my family, which basically tells them that I'm still living. So I have the Garmin InReach Mini here as my main satellite communicator. I can press the check-in button here and click that one, and now my family gets a message that I'm still breathing or that I'm okay. So good evening from night 3 now. So it is shortly after midnight and I'm up here in the cockpit again. I think it is a cruise ship which is passing us. I have it here on the radar, about 9 nautical miles away, and on the AIS. In the middle of the night I make the decision to hoist the gennaker again, as the wind has died down and the normal sails are just slapping around. Against everything I'm doing, but the gennaker is up and we're doing around 5 knots of speed, and it is just way more calm when the boat is rolling in very light winds but still swell, because the mainsail and the genoa are just when they're deflating, they just slap back into the rig with full force, sending a shockwave through the whole boat basically. And also the forecast shows nothing much else than a few knots of breeze. And tomorrow we are gonna be calmed basically for the whole day. So I don't have too many worries with the gennaker up now, because the forecast for the last 3 days was pretty much accurate all the time. So I'm trusting it with that one. So I'm under engine now. The gennaker was up for about 2 hours, and then the wind died down completely, so it was just hanging loosely. And additionally I have 2 cargo vessels near me, so going under engine now to get first clear of those, and secondly I don't have another option right now. So these are the 2 cargo vessels. He is constantly doing something weird with its course line there. And I have both on the radar, the first one and the second one. So the Amadeus Gold and the Singelkraft. Second one probably a Dutch cargo vessel. So I've just recalculated my plan a little bit and had a look over it. So I'm staying under engine now for the night probably. One time I probably have to refuel because I'm half empty right now. And I have 2.5 20-liter cans of diesel. I will try to get a bit more south towards A Coruña. I do not plan to go into A Coruña yet, maybe, we will see. But if I don't make way now, I'm stuck here tomorrow morning until afternoon basically, in a complete calm with absolutely 0 knots of wind. And a bit more south is forecasted to be a bit of wind, so I'm trying to get there under engine now to then continue under sail. So that's the plan now. So I'm putting a waypoint in the plotter now to the point where I want to go under engine, where there is expected to be wind just southerly of the center of that high pressure here. Because if we don't get out here on time, we will be stuck in no wind. So I'll try to get to here at least to have a bit of wind to go under sail. Okay, good morning from day 4 now. 4 days at sea, can't believe it, the longest time I've been at sea until now. But yeah, after around 5 hours, 6 hours under engine at night, the plan actually worked out, and we are now running under gennaker. I just set the gennaker half an hour ago outside there. And we are now approaching Cabo Finisterre in Spain. So that is great, doing 6 knots, beautiful sun outside, solar panels are generating pretty much electricity, like 150 watts. And I'm just making myself a breakfast. Trying to eat as diverse as somehow possible, not just noodles. And also for breakfast, not just cereal, which always was my standard. Which yeah, definitely brings the mood up, definitely. And it's now also getting warmer, like according to the heat map, to the weather map. It should get warmer from around Portugal, which is a pretty fast transition. That is interesting. But today the sun is out. Have the forehatch open, everything amazing. Oh. So I just jibed the gennaker to the other side here, to the starboard side, to be able to get a bit closer to land, because we were always like going parallel to A Coruña. So I absolutely love that sound. That is the sound of a new satellite message. So I really have to develop a plan now how I'm getting that down. A bit too late, because the wind is pretty strong, like really on the edge of being critical with that giant out. The whole afternoon I told myself to keep the gennaker up just for 30 more minutes, which now led to having to get it down in 20 knots of wind. Okay, that's gonna be fun! Because we are running downwind with 6 knots, the apparent wind, so the wind with which you're actually sailing, is much less, just above 10 knots. So with the huge gennaker up, it is really easy to misjudge that. After a battle on the foredeck and having to drop half the sail in the water, I got it safely in the sailbag. I have some knots in the reefing lines there. While turning Wolf into the wind to set the mainsail, only then I realized how strong the wind has actually become. So night 4, and we are finally across the Bay of Biscay, practically. So we are approaching the Cabo Finisterre now, which is the most westerly point of mainland Europe. It is now really the opposite of the Bay of Biscay crossing, which was much more calm than expected. And now we have, yeah, I don't know, 30 knots from the back or so. So forecasted are 20 to 25, but due to being close to land now, where the wind gets pushed by, that creates an like pressure point. So it is probably like 30% more wind than forecasted. So the night I'll be up in the cockpit here, watching the chart, the radar, and visually the coast over there. So we have the first land echo here on the radar now, since the last 3 days across the Bay of Biscay. About 20 nautical miles, 22 nautical miles away. Okay, so I don't know what the hell that just was, but when I got near the cape, I think it was a mix of current, wind, but I was below deck and suddenly the boat heeled over. I think that was a nearly knockdown, because the lee side of the cockpit was on the water, so the winches through a wave. I don't even exactly know what it was, but she was completely on her side. I think that was some combination of weird wave patterns, I don't know, I didn't see anything at night. Just got everything down basically, have a tiny teeny bit of the genoa out. Furling that in was also kind of fun. And I'm now just trying to get away from the land here. Waves are now better. I'm running a broad reach now. And trying to round the cape further offshore and if possible in daylight in 3 hours. I don't know what that was. Holy shit. Okay, good morning. So the wind, I'd say the wind picked up a bit more than forecasted. We're up on storm force now and going just under a bit of the genoa. But the good thing is we are basically running broad reach. Running broad reach, and we'll have to do that for about another 20 miles. And then we are on the west side of Cabo Finisterre, and with that we're in the wind shadow basically. Okay, and with that, good morning. We are still rocking on here. According to the GFS, around 40 knots of gusts, but I think those are more like 40 knots sustainable. But we're now getting closer to the cape, to the Cabo Finisterre, and as soon as we're in the lee of that, in about 2 hours, it should provide shelter, and also the GFS says the same. According to the GFS, it even goes down to a bit too little wind, so we'll see. So the waves which are coming in here, I feel like they have calmed down a little tiny bit as we're making progress towards the coast or in the sheltered area, the lee. But in the night there was one wave which almost knocked me down, where the winches here were basically in the water. For hell's sake, we have to seriously get out of this now. So if the weather map is correct and the speed calculations are correct, around 2 more hours of that till 11 AM. So it finally looks like that we are through it, or through the worst. We're just off the Cabo Finisterre here, and it's getting better. I just felt out a bit more of the genoa actually. Still have it felt in quite a bit, but I felt it out a bit more. And now I have to eat something because I've not eaten anything since yesterday basically. And I'm contemplating if I should continue to Lisbon. Weather-wise it looks good, or go into Vigo, which is now day trip basically away, so in the evening. So I'm still thinking about it. Okay, some cheese bread it is. A bit later, while running the engine, I noticed something weird with it. It is slightly changing revs up and down by itself, which can tell that there is some error in the fuel system. And before the engine fails in a critical situation, I head into the town of Muros on the Galician coast. Okay, so good morning from Muros here in Spain. So yesterday I came into here after having problems with the engine, and before it fails in a really critical condition where I really need it, I want to check that. So I came into the marina here because it was the nearest, and the town here is absolutely lovely. I feel like I'm in South America or something. Also the temperatures are up. I have the hatches open at night and I'm in shorts here at daylight. That thing is even a bit too warm and it's absolutely amazing here. But I want to get through that now as quickly as possible and then move on to the Canaries. Maybe one road bike tour here because it's absolutely amazing, an absolutely amazing place. But yeah, first I want to get that with the engine done and then we'll see further. It turns out that there is diesel bug built up in the fuel tank and completely clogged the fuel pre-filter, so I have to take apart the whole fuel system to get it clean again. But that is a story for another video. In the next video a lot of work awaits as we're taking apart the fuel system, and that is completely clogged with that black slimy stuff. Emptying and cleaning the fuel tank and then visiting the amazing and world famous town of Santiago de Compostela.